to do this, I brought in my friend Dylan Good. Dylan, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I am doing good. I'm excited to talk with you
Yeah.
about doing things God way.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Now, Dylan and I, we actually we do a lot of things together. Him and his brother Ethan. We run together. We go to church together. And I've kind of tried to be somewhat of a mentor for these guys. They do stuff the right way. Both of them, him and his brother, they're godly guys. They're really just getting started in the next part of their life and part of their journey. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to have coaching one-on-one. Hey, we have a lot of these conversations out on the gauntlet when we're running and doing some fun stuff, right? So we thought, well, you know what? Let's just put a camera in front of us and talk about some of this stuff. So, right now, Dylan, he's planning for his future, and he's trying to do it the right way. So when we sat down, we spent some time in the scripture, and we came down to a couple verses. And so guys out there, Proverbs 16:9, it's the first verse that came to mind. And I love it because it says, we can make our own plans, but the Lord determines our steps. Now, that's a powerful one, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
It ain't what we want to do sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great verse.
It is. Now, the second verse that we came up with, this is actually in my living room. This was at my wedding. It was put on a beautiful piece of wood, so I literally look at this verse every day.
Yeah, pretty popular verse, too.
It's a popular verse. Jeremiah 29:11. And that's out there. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." Now, as a man that's getting ready to enter the next stage of your life, how does that make you feel?
Hopeful, for sure.
Got that right, baby.
I'm still a little nervous, but I mean...
Well, it's okay to be a little nervous, right? Because,
sure.
It's a big step. What you're getting ready to go into it's a big step. So it's good that you have that nerves, because I think you in particular, I want to do it God's way, and that's important. So maybe get these guys, let them get to know you a little bit about your story, a little bit about your background, and how you got to where you're at right now.
Well, throughout high school, I went to an early college, so just basically a normal high school, but I have college classes mixed into it. Mm-hmm. So, and I would do a couple every year along with my normal high school classes, and then so I have all my prerequisite classes out of the way.
Right.
So
good for you, by the way. That's a touchdown right there.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. It makes life a lot easier. But
it makes it a lot cheaper too, buddy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have all that out of the way, and I've already applied for colleges and whatnot, but I'm not even sure if I want to go, because I feel like I'm kind of I wouldn't mind looking into trade schools or entrepreneurial stuff maybe, but I mean, I don't know. I kind of just want to make money, really, but I want to make money doing something that I'm going to enjoy, So.
Hey, we all want to make money, baby, but you got to be careful. You want to do it, like you said, God's way, and making sure that we're following his path. So, I mean, one thing that I start thinking about when I coach people through stuff, and I know we've talked about it, is what are you passionate about? So if you think about your passions, the things that get you excited, because if we can figure out a way to let you get paid for some of those passions, that's a touchdown, right? So maybe walk through that a little bit. What are some of those passions?
Well, I mean, I really like shoes. I really like basketball.
Okay.
Those are two big ones. And then I don't know. I like talking to people, but I also wouldn't mind if I did something where I didn't have to talk to a lot of people. So I feel like I have a lot of options. I guess in that sense.
That's right.
But
there's something to be said about quiet.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So and you do have a little bit of that more quiet personality I've picked up from time to time.
Yeah, I can.
You have your moments. So I mean, shoes, basketball, inside, outside. Maybe think about that. Like, ideally, would you be inside? Would you be outside? Do you want a mix? Do you want some flexibility?
I wouldn't mind something where I was maybe moving around a lot, but I mean, if it came to outside or inside, I'd probably rather be inside rather than doing something in the hot sun all day.
I got you. So we live in North Carolina, so it can get kind kind of steamy in the
Yep.
summer, right? Right. So okay.
Pretty unpredictable weather for sure.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. So, you got some passion. I'm curious about the basketball and the shoes. What do you think you could do with that? If you're passionate about that, where could be a path there?
Well, for the shoes at least, I bought a couple of them during Black Friday at a store for way underneath like what they're worth.
Right.
They were used, so they were obviously a little cheaper, but even used shoes, the ones I bought them for way underneath what they were worth. Some of them I could sell for like double or triple what I bought them for.
Okay.
It's a matter of people actually buying them
Right.
instead of them just sitting in my room.
Yeah, you got to find that market. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a part of it for sure. So, when you start thinking about, you mentioned, you're in a college prep type school right now.
Yeah.
That was getting you ready, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's your only option.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like so many times that's what's painted for, particularly, well, men in general is, what's the first thing you think about as you'll get older? When you walk up to someone, you'll ask them, well, what do you do? Like, we feel like we're defined by our careers, right? And that's not always the case, man. I mean, there's more to us than that. God made us more than that.
Yeah.
So, I really like how you're taking your time and keeping your options open.
Yeah, that was a priority for me since I didn't know what I wanted to do. Because that's not something I intended to have to struggle with at this point in my life. So I feel like at the very least I can do is just keep my options on the table.
For sure. I've seen so many people just jump into school and go knee deep in debt, not knowing what they want to do. And then next thing you know, they change majors.
Yeah, they try to figure it out while they're there.
While you're there, like you can't, you don't just like learn the game in the game. Like
Yeah, exactly.
you got to do some prep work, some practice, and understand where you're trying to go, and that's how you get better. I mean, I know, you lift too. Like he started lifting weights, he's gonna be a big guy here. So,
Hopefully.
So like, you're learning to get to that. It's the same thing. You learn those fundamentals. You stretch yourself. You set your goals. Then you do the next one. Same thing with your career and figuring out your next path is, okay, first figuring out what you're good at, what you enjoy, and then start throwing some energy and some mind time into that so that you can figure out what that path may look like, right?
Yeah, it's like finding something that you want to, like for the gym example, it's like finding something you want to improve on, learning how to like go about it properly with like good form and whatnot, and then just being persistent from there.
That's right. And
It's
that's so important. So important.
Just find what you want to do and then just be passionate, like be persistent in finding out how to do that the right way.
Right. Right. No doubt. So I tell you, when you start thinking about evaluating, those next steps, a lot of it comes down to who you listen to, right? Who you take advice from, and who you probably shouldn't listen to. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll jump in and talk about, who we should actually listen to as godly men. At The Line Within Us, we discuss wealth a lot. And our sponsor at Investing for Beginners provides great resources for those wanting to take their knowledge of investing to the next level. Their monthly research e-letter is the best way to learn about the market and apply insight to begin growing your wealth. The newsletter tracks the founder's journey of managing a portfolio and shares how the decisions are made. For the beginning investor, this could be a great way to learn how to get started with investing from a company that is putting their money where their mouth is. I've been subscribing to their e-letter for quite some time, and it's something I look forward to every month, and I've learned a ton. They're a conservative group with an emphasis on a margin of safety. The Lion Within Us listeners can receive 15% off the monthly e-letter by visiting thelionwithin.us/IFB, that's Investing for Beginners, and using the promo code LION at checkout. That's thelionwithin.us/IFB, and use promo code LION to receive 15% off your monthly research e-letter. All right, guys, I'm back here with Dylan. So we've been talking a lot about, planning for the future God's way, because, that's first and foremost, that is most important. You know,
For sure.
we don't want to just lay out a path that we think's good, and God is sitting there trying to scream at us that no, this is not the path we want you to go down. Like, dude, I want you to go this way. But too many times we have our blinders on.
Yeah.
You know, just think about the horses out there. You put those blinders on, they go one way, and they have no clue to the world that exists. So, I'm curious for a high school guy, just finished up high school.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you listening to? Like, who are you trying to get your advice from for those next steps?
Well, definitely my parents for sure, because they know me better than pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
their insights on like what they think I'd be good at or should look into is obviously very valuable to me. And then just
What do they say?
my dad tries to tell me like if I don't want to go to college, don't just jump right into it, which I totally agree with. But
Good advice.
I mean, he's recommended a lot of stuff like, you know, like maybe looking into real estate or other like trade schools is something that he's not entirely against, or maybe like working with him, you know?
Yeah.
So I have a lot of options
Now, what
on
does
that
he
side
do?
of the table. Well, he works for an environmental company, but I mean, he's not really doing plant stuff. He's a manager, and his job is to get clients for the company. So a normal day for him would be him driving around, meeting with new clients, and then seeing what they need done, and then gauging like what a fair price would be for that job.
Okay.
And one thing he really likes about it is he's not cooped up in an office all day.
Yeah.
It kind of stays fresh on
Yeah.
like from day to day. It doesn't get as boring as quickly because he likes to stay busy and active, you know.
And it sounds like it also, with his career path, there's a lot of autonomy. There's a lot of flexibility. You know, when you think about, you know, in the business world right now, the people that are trying to get people like you to come to work for them, they're realizing they have to offer different things. So, like right now, it's all about flexibility and benefits. Like if you're trying to get people to come work for you, you better have some good benefits and you better have some flexibility in your schedule.
Yeah,
Because
that's
if you
true.
don't, they're not going to come work for you, right? So, I mean, you got to keep that in mind. So, I mean, it sounds like your dad's got a really interesting path because he's got a lot of that. He can be outside and
Yeah.
kind of set his own schedule and things like that.
Yeah, it stays pretty fresh for him, and I mean once a month he does have to go into the office. That's
Right.
the one thing he doesn't like.
Right.
But
Right.
I mean-
We all don't like that. That's right. But you know, when you start thinking about that, you could always lay out like a pro and con list, right?
Yeah.
Kind of lay like what's important to you for the future, things that you'd want to have from a benefit standpoint, and what's not. You know, what do you want to make sure you stay away from? That may give you some ideas. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one benefit that would be cool in my career is like a 401k through the business or something like that. That's definitely a big one for sure. Some negatives, I mean, I wouldn't prefer to work in the hot sun all day for my
Right,
career,
right,
you
right.
know. So,
Well, I mean, it's all. These are all things you have time to evaluate.
yeah.
You know, so
definitely need to take time thinking about that for sure.
you got that right. You got that right. And the cool part about Dylan, what you're doing, you're listening to your parents, and you have godly parents who are giving you godly advice. Who else? I mean, who else would you listen to for career guidance or just guidance on your path in general?
Well, my grandfather's a pretty big one because he's had a pretty successful career in banking, or he did earlier in his life, and now he has his own company, so he's an entrepreneur in a way. So he has a lot of experience in a lot of different fields. He worked his way up in a big bank in Florida, so he knows a lot about that side of.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And then his company, he knows a lot about how to start up businesses and stuff like that. So that's all
Okay.
really valuable information that I really like to seek out with him.
So you have some entrepreneur in your blood.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So I mean, that's a whole different game, right? I mean,
For
that's,
sure.
That's a different mindset. You are literally your own boss. You know, if you don't work, you don't eat. You kill what you eat, type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Or eat what you kill, rather, type of thing. So that's an interesting path. So do you think that'd be something that you would want to evaluate?
I mean, sure, I'm definitely interested. And if I find something that I'd really like to do
Yeah.
where I could start a business, then I'm sure it'd probably be really fun, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, when you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, there's pretty much everything falls onto you. You
Yeah.
know, like you got to pay your employees. You got to make sure you got to close deals or whatever you might be doing. There's a lot that falls onto you. So it can be kind of intimidating and seem pretty complicated. But I feel like if you find something that you're really passionate about, all that stuff might not matter. It might make it more fun. You never know.
And it wouldn't, if God, going back to Jeremiah 29:11, if that's the path that He's declared for you, it's going to be prosperous.
Yeah.
It doesn't say it's going to be easy.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
So we got to keep that in mind. And also, I talked to an executive one time at a corporation, and I was talking to her. And she said this that really stood out to me. And it just came to mind when you said that. Maybe that was just God dropping that in my mind right now. But she said, think big, act small. Okay? So you can have these great big ideas, but start off at a smaller scale.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to start off with 20 employees for any job.
Yeah.
Who are you going to have? Probably you.
Yeah.
Like, most entrepreneurs start off as solopreneurs. And then as they build their business, they get the reps. They learn what to do and what not to do. All those lessons learned, right? And then they start scaling. So that would be my advice. If you want to start thinking through the entrepreneurial route, think big. I think that's beautiful. It's a great exercise because we need to know the path that we're trying to head now. Ultimately, we need to spend a lot of time in prayer on that, and understand that we're trying to follow what God wants. But then you can take small steps. That's okay.
Yeah. I think that's really good advice too, because in business, I hear it's a lot of trial and error. Like, no one really graduates college knowing how to start a business. They don't really teach that in college, So
Right.
It's a lot about you. If you want it, you got to go get it,
You do. You have to go get it, and you have to figure out where you can provide value. First of all, it's got to be something that people are going to pay for.
Yeah.
So, and then, and I'm all about the serving. So if you can provide value that's, someone's always going to pay you monetarily for that service, but you focus on serving others. I think as Christian men, that's what think about Jesus. He was here. And what did he do when he was here? He served. That's all he did. He was the example of servant leadership.
Yeah.
And if our Lord can get down and, clean the feet of the disciples, sometimes a bad day for us ain't that bad after all, right? Just putting things in perspective,
Yeah.
So, that's something to think about, as you're thinking about the entrepreneurial route. I think it's a great option for you to consider.
Yeah, I do too. It's definitely something I want to look into. It seems like it has a lot of potential, and it can be like a lot of fun.
So, how would people, let's unpack that a little more. So you're a young guy. You're just graduating.
Yeah.
And you're getting ready to figure out, do you want to go to a college? Do you want to go to a trade school? Do you want to start a business?
Yeah.
Where are you going to start learning some of this about yourself? Is it online? Is it talking to people?
Mostly YouTube or whatever influences I have in my life.
Gotcha. Well, be careful. We have to be careful about the types of people we let speak into our lives. That's why you need to be real in tune on who you don't listen to.
Yeah. Because a lot of people on YouTube can just be like get-rich-quick people that aren't really practical, real life things you can do. And also, it's not going to be that fulfilling. Like, it's just like get your money and go, sort of things. It's not very.
Well, think about it too on YouTube and Instagram and all the social platforms and things like that. It's very much edited.
Yeah,
filtered.
for sure.
Like, you don't see like all the hard stuff, like the licks that they had, the stuff they had to overcome. What you see is, the icing on top.
Yeah.
That just the gravy part.
And they want to go out and get it too. Like they found all these quick ways to make all this money or so.
Right.
From really working towards it because it's something they really wanted.
Right. Absolutely.
The plan isn't like the game plan isn't going to be the same for everybody.
No,
either.
it's not.
Because everyone has their circumstances in their area where they live.
They do.
May not have as much opportunity.
That's right. Well, I think it's really cool that you're keeping those options open. And I tell you what, I want to come back. We'll take a quick break, and I want to come back and talk to you about, college versus trade schools and how you should maybe consider that as you consider your plans in the future. We are proud to be sponsored by FMG Financial Hope. They provide financial coaching support, and Lions recognize that wealth is a core area that we all want to focus on. Their coaching process gives you a trained set of eyes that will be focused on three things. First, understanding your situation. Second, providing information that is specifically tailored to help you. And third, they inject hope. Good coaches teach the fundamentals of the game, but great coaches motivate. And winning with finances is possible for everyone. And FMG Financial Hope can get you there. So if you find yourself tired of running out of money before the month ends, never getting ahead with finances, or if you're just tired of living paycheck to paycheck, FMG Financial Hope can provide the support you need to start your path towards financial freedom. Visit thelionwithin.us/FMG to learn more. All right, guys, we're back here with Dylan. I want to talk to him a little bit more. He's been in a school that's been prepping him for college. So granted, I'm not going to slam him.
Yeah.
They're trying to prep you for college, which is cool. But the 4-year degree is not the only path. And I think as men that are following God, we need to make sure we're talking to our next generation, like Dylan and younger, about the other options that exist. There are so many trade schools that exist. I mean, and learning how to work with your hands, learning a skill. And I think that needs to be celebrated.
Yeah, it really should be.
Yeah, not just like it's all you hear about is like, well, I got into Alabama. Okay, well, you're getting ready to be in debt.
Yeah, you're going.
Like you had a great football team, but like you're going to be in debt for a long time.
You're not on the football team.
Yeah,
so.
that's right. So I mean, it's just I want to make sure. I wish we could change the narrative around the 4-year degree is the only way to be successful in life.
Yeah, that's true. Because I mean, granted, my school may have a little bias on that because they're prepping all of us for college.
Right.
But you never hear the guidance counselor mention like maybe going to a trade school or something like that, because often getting a career in a trade school can be a lot easier and a lot cheaper than going to college and racking up a bunch of debt and deciding what you do along the way. So, and that's something that really needs to be talked about more just in general.
Yeah, it does. It does. Because there's so much to be said for that. And I mean, and once you learn that skill set, you have it forever.
Exactly.
And you only get better at it, right, as you fine tune your craft. And the cool part about a lot of those schools and that type of path, a lot of that education can get for free.
Yeah.
You can find employers that will put you through those programs and be like apprentice, things like that. And the next thing you know, you got the skill set to go make some serious bank.
Exactly. And those skills are going to be valuable forever, because especially I feel like in the next 10 years or so, it'll be extremely valuable because everybody my age is going to college and wants to get a degree.
Yeah.
Whereas not a lot of people set out to become like electricians or plumbers, but that's something that we'll always need.
That's right.
So when there's a short demand or short supply in those fields, there's going to be a lot of demand for it, which means you can make a lot of money in fields like that.
Right. And that's where we need to make sure we're promoting to that next generation and talking to them about that and making sure they understand those options, and celebrating, if they want to go into that, just like if they decide to go in the military, celebrate that.
Yeah, that's important.
Military, 4-year degree, trade school, so long as you're bettering yourself.
Exactly.
That's my big thing. Like, you need to be doing something to contribute something positively to society. Because someday, you're going to have to answer to our Creator. He's going to want to know what you did.
Yeah.
Do
you want to look back and realize you did nothing?
Right.
I
did nothing while I was here. Like, no, that's not what we want to be. We want to be the guys that are always digging out, that are always trying to make ourselves better, that are pushing ourselves, that are pushing our community, that are being that iron that sharpens the iron for our fellow brothers out there. And there's just so many things that we can do the wrong way, but if we stay focused on God and what He wants for our path, Proverbs 16:9, we can make our own plans, but the Lord determines our steps. Let's listen for what the Lord's telling us, and then let's actually take those steps.
Yeah. You gotta have the courage to actually take the steps, because you can feel like God's calling you to do something, but if you don't actually act on it, you're not gonna like follow His will and His plan for you.
That's right. That's right. I mean, do you think it's like looked down upon if you don't do the 4-year versus like a trade? Do you think there's a stigma out
Yeah,
there?
definitely there's a stigma. I feel like everyone's parents wants them to go to like some big university just so they could say, oh, like they made it in some big school and they're going to get a good job, right? But they might not even like that job and they could have a ton of debt and not really enjoy life like they want to. Whereas if they would have just gone to like a trade school or something, they could have had a job a lot quicker, made a lot more money and not had as much debt. So
Now, guys, this is were you 18, 19?
I just turned 19.
This is
Yeah.
a 19-year-old man talking this way. So there's hope. Is what I'm trying to tell you guys. There's hope out there. But I tell you what, it took a lot of intentionality by his parents to get that mindset in him. And as you guys that are leading your families, you have to be that. You have to have these conversations like Dylan and I are having right now. You know, we didn't answer any, your next step. There's no big epiphanies here. But it's a good conversation because you're thinking in the right ways, and we're trying to mold you and try to get you down the path that God wants you down.
Yeah.
And whatever that is, you're going to be supported.
Yeah, and I'm getting pushed in some sort of direction, whereas a lot of people don't really find that direction. They just kind of go out looking for it blind. They don't really know.
That's right. That's right. And I mean, and there's something to be said about wise counsel, and and I think that's why the way you evaluate stuff, who you listen to, understanding that there's a big world out there, man. Like you're not just in this narrow field. And I tell you one thing that's popped in my head too. I've talked to a lot of people. I talked to one of our guests on the line within us, and he went to Bible school. So he trained and got his education in theology. Got out of the church. He now he's an entrepreneur that runs his own video marketing firm, and he does real estate investments.
Wow.
Right? So, like, he thought he was doing what God, went to the school that he felt called to.
Yeah.
But when he got out, the cool part about this story is he was in tune enough and in the Word and talking to God and listening that he quickly realized, you know what? God wants me over here. And when he did that, it's blossomed to this beautiful business that he has.
And I think that's honestly pretty funny because it's like, how can you go wrong with going to theology school?
Right.
How can that not be like what God wants for you, right? More pastors or something?
Yeah.
But he wanted he rewarded him with something completely different.
Completely different, and he definitely got the reward, but he only got it because he was listening.
Yeah.
And then he was obedient to that call. And I think, Dylan, if that's you, for my advice to you, listen and then be obedient to whatever God calls you to. Because that's the message. Guys, it's so easy to get caught in the trap.
Yeah.
But if you listen and you're obedient, beautiful things can happen.
Yeah, for sure. You got to pray about it.
Got to pray about it, brother. Got to pray about it. So anything else you got?
No, that's it for me. But
well, this has been a lot of fun. And I tell you what, Dylan, he's doing some great things. And this coaching one-on-one, this is what I do. I mean, I try to help people, try to help them think about different perspectives. And then he's going to be able to take this from here. He's got to make his own decisions because he's his own man. But you know what? Find that wise counsel. So I'm pretty pumped you came on.
Yeah,
tell you what,
happy to be on.
Absolutely, brother. Guys, if you're liking this, check out the show notes. There's plenty of links in there for ways to connect with the line within us. Definitely share this with your buddies. Now, I'm gonna make it a requirement where Dylan, he's gonna have to text 20 guys about this episode to get it out there. But seriously, don't keep the line within us in your pocket. Take it out. Share it with people. Go in there. Give us a 5-star rating. Write a quick 1-2 sentence review. That makes all the difference in the world. Go to thelinewithin.us and you'll find all our resources, all the information we have. We have Bible studies. We have an email list. We have the coaching programs, just like he and I walked through today, a little bit of the coaching. So we have resources out here to help you, to get you better, to get you equipped, because you are predestined. Do not forget that. So guys, what I'll leave you with is this: make today the day that you unleash the lion within.